Hey, what's going on, everybody? We got in Alex's stuff yesterday. You know, he's going to run this billet crawler crank in his build. Here is my version of a billet crank for the Z32 for the VG30. I'm just going to show some comparison differences. You've seen the pictures and everything, and you've seen basically the walk up and walk down between the two crankshafts. But I'm just going to go over a few things on the crawler. Beautiful crankshaft. I don't see anything really wrong with it. The few details that I do see that were quite different from what we offer here are pretty drastic, so I'm going to go over a few of those things. Most of the rods here have a rifle going through them, which is a weight reduction through making the pins hollow in the middle. These are not gone all the way through, they're just lightened on one side. Same thing, this one isn't done here, but it is done here and done on the underside on this number 6 down here. But on my version, it is fully gone through all the way through. You can see there, you can see my finger on the other side there. So this actually is a little bit lighter of a crankshaft. All my rods are done this way. I do like the finish on this is pretty good. I wish that it was a little more radiused here, even on the ends here, which is basically the knife edge deal. This is great for windage. A lot of the guys in the racing industry are more going to a bullnose counterweight on here, but they both primarily do the same thing. There's just a little bit difference in detail between the two. The weight of this crankshaft is heavier. I can tell just by knowing that the material wasn't fully drilled out of this crank compared to what we offer here. I don't know the exact amount, but it is going to be quite a bit different. How much different, like I said, I don't know, but it will be probably a pound or two, I would imagine. Going through this, you see that the shoulder on here is really big between the main and the rod. Ours is a little more narrower here. We actually have a little bit of a different setup here for counterweight to balance off the rod assembly. You can see everything there. Everything was bullnosed on the counterweight. The other big thing too is that I know that Crowler comes through and turns their diameter down here. This crank was already balanced for another rotating assembly, and he just went in here and drilled it. We try to not do this. We try to leave them just like this, where it's called a no holes balance, and everything is done on the lathe. What this does is it reduces the overall diameter of the counterweight. Let's see if I can get the camera up there. Overall diameter of the counterweight. So this makes a smaller rotating package, which means you'll get better response, better power, and it's easier to balance the assembly that way. Drilling holes in here have a few adverse effects to the crankshaft. One, it'll induce harmonics into the crankshaft. Two, it becomes an oil port itself, where it will actually catch and hold oil in there and sling it to one side. It can upset balance in the crankshaft as it's rotating. You can see the differences in the thrust area here. Ours comes with a nice reduced or relief chamfer on the bottom. This is more squared, but everything is primarily the same. Both crankshafts are in the $3,000 to $3,600 range, and we just wanted to show the differences between what we offer and what the other offer that has been out. I know a few people have bought these crankshafts, and I just wanted to show the differences between the two, so people can get a bird's eye view. My crankshafts here are rated around 2,600 to 3,000 horsepower. I don't know what these are rated for, because I don't know the material construction nor what the heat treat process that's done to these crankshafts. But ours are triple nitride heated and as well as induction hardened, and they are EN 4300 series material. In my opinion, from what we have seen with other crankshafts on the market, this seems to be the best production crank that we have come across for an ultra billet high power end setup. I only offer these basically on my stroker builds. Callies is coming out with a stock stroke, stock journal application, since the factory cranks I think are no longer being available through Nissan. So those are going to be things we're going to try to phase out. Even here, we're going to get away from using the factory crank and start going to all billet crankshafts going forward as much as we can. For the price that they offer them for, it would be kind of foolish for anyone to retain a stock crank versus going to a billet crank going forward, especially with the type of power we're trying to push going more and more forward. So be on the lookout. Alex's stuff is, we're going to show some more parts and stuff that he's got in here today. I just wanted to showcase a little differences between our EPR crank and the Crowler crank for the VG30. Like I said, everything else is pretty good. I don't really have any negative things to say whatsoever regarding the crankshaft. There's just differences in details between the two that some people may not be familiar with or understand, and I figured I'd come in and show those things. That way people get a little more familiar about what we look at here and what makes the difference between one part over the other. So stay tuned, you'll see some more stuff coming on, and there's your little quick side-by-side comparison between Crowler and EPR crank. There is a factory crank, and then there's a Z31 VG30 crank here that we're going in a build that we're doing next week. So stay tuned, more things to come. Appreciate it.